In a previous class, I have talked about the ability to learn something fast, 10x your learning, and the importance of learning anything. And the skill of learning itself, why is it extremely important to master it in order to master other skills? Because if you learn the ability to learn at the best optimist way, optimist way, then you can learn anything else quite easily. So you can transfer it into other skills. So that's why learning is basically the most important skill that you should master. Therefore, you can master other skills. Now, and I give you tips about this. If you didn't watch the video, I don't know what you're doing with your life, go watch it. I'm always speaking wisdom. Now, today we're going to talk about learning. Learning and some methods to use while learning, either studying for an exam, which is stupid, or just learning some paragraph or memorizing a story or a list that your mother gave you to buy from the shop. It doesn't matter. These 3 tips and hacks will help you to learn anything quite fast. Now, the first is short bursts. Short bursts, like I have talked about in my previous story, if you ever went into a party or event, you would remember the first few people, and then you will forget what happened in the midsection unless something crazy happened, like somebody killed another person or some fight. And then you will remember the last people you met, right? So for us to counter this fall, what should you do? You should go up, and once you reach the climax of your memory or your brain functioning, you should go back, drop down. That's basically what you should do. And for you to drop down, you should take a rest. And the best method I found so far, some people may say 45, some people will say not. Who cares? I know what I'm doing. 25 is the best method. So you study for 25 minutes and take a 5-minute break. But you don't open Facebook or Instagram or any stupid thing you want to do in those 5 minutes. In those 5 minutes, you're going to review what you learned in those 25 minutes. But you're going to review lightly. You're going to pass through them. Skim through them, all right? So that's the basically 25 method, 5. And maximally, I do it multiplied by 5. So I will repeat it 5 times, 25, 5, 25, 5, 4, 5 times. That's maximally what I have done. Maybe I'm a genius. That's what is enough for me. You maybe need more. The best method is 25, 5. Second thing is stories and places. You see, your brain, your small little brain within your skull, doesn't memorize things easily through repetition. It does memorize things through repetition, but it requires a lot of reps. Something that is very easy for your brain to print on and just print on your memory is stories and places, because that's something we need to survive, all right? So a nice way to remember something is stories or places. For example, how do you use stories memorizing a list? If I gave you this list, which is the most random list I ever seen so far: shoe, bike, bag, juice, rice, battery, basket, class, car, hospital, and I told you to memorize it, you would probably repeat it over and over again, and it will take you 5-10 minutes to get it all together within your mind. While if you made a story about this list, it would be way better and easier for you. So, for example, you take the shoe, you imagine a story. The more hilarious and fabulous the story, the better it is for you to recall it, even if it's cringe. I don't care. Just make a story. So, imagine you have a shoe. On the shoe itself, there is a bike logo. There's a bike logo. And the bike logo fell off from the shoe, and after that, you put it in your bag. After you put it in the bag, the bike logo poked the juice box. So it's the juice box. So you took it out from your bag and drank it, which tasted like rice. I know it sounds weird, but continue. Which tastes like rice, and then you spit it, and you're gonna throw it, and you find some batteries next to it, or attached to it. I know it's crazy. You find some batteries attached to it. You took both the rice juice and the batteries and throw them into the basket, and then went to your class because you were going to your class. While going to your class, you hear some car accidents, and after the accident, they took the people in the car to the hospital. I made this up now. You can make any story about a list within 30 seconds, 2 minutes maximum, and then you can remember it. Now I can erase it, recall it out of my mind. There was a shoe, you had a shoe that has a bike logo. You took the bike logo fell off. After the bike logo fell off, you put it in your bag, which poked your juice box, which you took out and drank, which tasted like rice. And as you wanted to throw it, you found some battery attached to it. So you throw it in the basket and continue on to your class. As you were walking to your class, you heard some car accident, and the people in the car went to the hospital after the accident. Very easy. That's how you memorize something, not by repetition. That's stories and places. For places, you should imagine, usually you should use that with memorizing a lot of names. So you want to memorize some people who are coming in the event, you're going to imagine a castle, and at the entrance of the castle, there is Jean. At the end of the castle, there is Leila. So you're going to memorize it like that. Now, the third last hack is codes. Your mind remembers things through codes, with things you are familiar with. So instead of memorizing numbers, you memorize them with letters. And instead of memorizing, for example, if I told you what is the best ways to learn, you're gonna say short bursts, stories, places. But if I erase the board, you will not remember. So how you're gonna remember it is using codes. So you're gonna take the first letter from each one, short, stories, codes. And you're gonna make a sentence, and you're gonna make the sentence capital with those three letters, and make the rest small. So let's say sense cup. I know it sounds weird, but whenever I ask you what is the ability to learning, you will say sense cup, which is S for short bursts, another S for story, and places. The other one is codes. Thank me later.